17.3. All right, here we go. Going to be nice, short, sweet. Starting on page 465 here. So, one of the things we're talking about, ozone depleting substances are typically human made. All right, so we talk about these things called halocarbons are the main type of ozone depleting substance. A lot of these CFCs, were mass produced starting in the 1970s. So think about like aerosolized things like hairsprays, PAM spray, things like that. Those are the things that basically get into the atmosphere, start screwing everything up. Here's basically the diagram of what's going on. You can see CFCs destroy ozone in a multi-step process repeated many times. So you can see refrigerators, aerosol spray cans, air conditioners, so on. Okay, these are the things that create these chlorofluorocarbons, or the CFCs. So these CFCs react with the sun's UV radiation, giving them the energy to combine with the chlorine, grabs ozone, and basically splits it apart. So ozone depletion, that's what we're talking about. We're taking ozone and we're splitting it until oxygen, and the chlorine molecule grabs onto an oxygen molecule. That oxygen pairs up, creates an O2, or excuse me, creates O3. I'm sorry, I explained that wrong. This chlorine with that oxygen grabs another oxygen molecule, which makes O2. So basically, we've gone from an ozone level there, we've created one oxygen, we've created one more oxygen. Then the chlorine goes back and does it again, and again, and again. So basically, we're pulling ozone and making it oxygen, ozone into oxygen, again and again and again and again. Now, the issue is that since so much, or greater than 1 million tons per year of CFCs were produced, they make a hole in the ozone. Because again, we're just taking ozone, we're kind of depleting it. So we're turning it into oxygen again and again and again. So then every spring, and we showed this video today actually in class, the hole opens up over the Antarctic. So basically it turns into, and it looks like, I'm off screen a little bit, sorry. It looks like that. It basically gets really, really, really open. Okay, this is the peak. You can see September 4th, 2006. Okay, that's basically where it's the worst. Now, one thing I did skip over was the science behind the story. I love these stories in here because basically it's talking about how scientists discover it. It walks through these things. You can see they're releasing a high altitude balloon. It's actually really kind of a cool, interesting study in how they basically made this thing work. Now, what kind of the world did in reaction to figuring out all that information is they got together and they basically, in the Montreal Protocol, this is where they basically got together and science and industry worked together for the common good. Okay, this is basically, like it says here, the gold standard, because this is really the first time that the world really got together and agreed on some stuff. So you can see in the chart there, so the Montreal Protocol reduced atmospheric concentration of pollutants that destroy stratospheric ozone, and follow-up agreements in London, Copenhagen, and Beijing, and so on. So if nothing happened, you can see the trend would have just continued to go and go and go. But that Montreal Protocol was the first step. And then London pushed it again, and then Copenhagen, and so on. And you can see basically the amount of production of those things is starting to decline, period. Also on this page, we're on 468, is this graph here. So you can see the Antarctic ozone hole grew quickly after its appearance. You can see it goes from basically right appears and then it shoots up really quick. But phase outs of ozone depleting substances beginning in 1987 have halted its growth. So I know that it still shows that kind of like in general it's growing up, but look at how quickly it grew from like, that'd probably be like 1980, 1981 to 1985. Look at how quickly that grew compared to what it's at now across the last basically 30 years. There has been an increase, but compared to what it was, it's really done a big improvement. Alrighty, we got reading quizzes coming Monday. Make sure you are ready.